With Cobra Kai approaching the finish line, 6 rematches must happen in Season 6. Cobra Kai Season 5 resolved most of the conflicts in the Karate Kid sequel series, but with one more season still in the pipeline, it's clear that the show has more stories to tell. Some of these could relate to fights that were never properly concluded. In this video, I want us to talk about the conflicts that are still somewhat unresolved that should be resolved in Cobra Kai Season 6. But before we head back to the valley and start stirring up S-word, I'd like to say hello guys and gals, I'm Nick, and welcome to 30's Feedback. So, Miguel's decisive win over Robbie, Terry Silver losing to Daniel, and other fights in the show have erased the need for several battles to be continued. But while it's true that Cobra Kai doesn't have many rivalries left by Season 5's end, that doesn't mean the fighting is anywhere close to being over. Cobra Kai is abound with characters with competitive spirits, making it inevitable that more fights will happen, even without new villains joining the fold. After all, they have an international karate tournament to prepare for, thus giving the series more chances for unresolved fights to finally get definitive winners or perhaps a different result. Here's 6 rematches that could happen in Cobra Kai Season 6. Eli vs. Kenny. Eli and Kenny may not be true rivals, but one event in Cobra Kai Season 5 gave them a good reason to be at odds in Season 6. Regardless of whether Kenny eventually denounces Cobra Kai's aggressive ways, it shouldn't be forgotten that Kenny defeated Eli. His use of a dangerous technique was regarded as cheating, but that doesn't take away from the fact that Kenny did land the silver bullet punch. It's hard to imagine that fact being lost on either character when they meet again. Eli has grown so much since this series began, but his desire to keep getting better and better remains strong. With that in mind, there's a good chance Eli would welcome a second shot at beating Kenny. Anthony vs. Kenny. Arguably the biggest unfinished teenage rivalry in Cobra Kai is the one shared by Anthony and Kenny. Daniel LaRusso's son and Terry Silver's star pupil are enemies with or without Cobra Kai. Kenny lost faith in his mentor, but nothing that happened in Season 5 gave any impression that he would let go of his hatred of Anthony. With Silver's influence on him gone, the door is open for Kenny to accept a genuine apology in a later episode. But until that happens, their rivalry should go on. At this point, the two forgiving each other for their respective actions without one more fight would risk coming across as anticlimactic. By making Anthony a student at Daniel and Johnny's dojo, the series put him in a position to finally become competitive in a fight with another Cobra Kai character, namely Kenny. If a time skip happens, the show will be able to justify making an Anthony vs. Kenny rematch in Cobra Kai a challenge for both characters. Due to his dedication to his training, Kenny should still have the edge, but either way, this is a fight that needs to occur before Cobra Kai can fully end their rivalry. Johnny vs. Terry Silver. In one season, Cobra Kai gave 2 of its characters, Chosen and Daniel, wins over Terry Silver, the character previously perceived as the show's ultimate threat. Cobra Kai demonstrated how talented the Karate Kid Part 3 villain was by allowing him to make short work of both Johnny and Daniel in separate fights. Cobra Kai redeemed Daniel's loss by allowing him to win the rematch in the Season 5 finale, but ultimately left Johnny's unavenged. The finale gave him other ways to shine, but a victory over Terry Silver still eludes him. Unlike the situation with Daniel's first fight with the character, Johnny's battle with him happened under unfair circumstances. As Johnny himself pointed out in Season 5, Silver's win was aided by a sucker punch. Since the element of surprise had so much to do with Johnny's defeat, it's unclear what would happen if they were both equally prepared. Since Cobra Kai left some loose ends with Terry Silver's story, it's certainly possible that Johnny will be availed the same opportunity Daniel was given in the finale. Chosen versus Mike Barnes. Chosen and Mike Barnes don't have a beef in Cobra Kai, but a rematch between these two Karate Kid trilogy villains would certainly be one worth seeing when the series returns. So far, Chosen is the character with the strongest claim on the title of Cobra Kai's best fighter, but Season 5 introduced another contender for it when it pitted him against Sean Kanan's Mike Barnes. Considering Chosen's remarkable fighting skills, Barnes held his own surprisingly well. In fact, he handled the fight in such a way that it's since been speculated that he might be on Chosen's level. But because the show didn't let the fight play out, there's no way of being sure one way or the other, unless they fight one more time. Cobra Kai can address the comparisons and questions surrounding these characters by arranging a rematch in Season 6. If Barnes becomes the fourth sensei of their dojo, it's possible that their fight will happen as a demonstration for the students. Or, similar to how Chosen wanted to fight Daniel in Season 3, they could battle as a way of saving their own curiosity. Miguel versus Eli. In Season 5, Johnny and Daniel were faced with the decision when forced to pick between Robbie, Miguel and Eli when deciding on which character should represent them in the exhibition match with Cobra Kai. What this implies is that their dojo doesn't have a clear male champion. It was once understood that Miguel was the superior fighter, but Eli winning the boys division in the All Valley Karate Tournament in Season 4 left some room for debate. Miguel has proven that he's better than Robbie, but his last fight with Eli had no winner due to the former's sudden back injury. Cobra Kai can finally rectify this with a sparring match in Season 6. These sorts of fights are sure to take place, especially with a high-stakes event like the Saikai Taikai around the corner, which should motivate them all to intensify their training. Johnny versus Kreese. Another fight likely to be relevant to Cobra Kai Season 6 is the lingering conflict between Johnny and Kreese. When they last fought, Johnny lost, but only because Robbie interfered on Kreese's behalf. But if Kreese is becoming more unhinged than ever, Johnny may have a much tougher fight on his hands if a rematch is set in motion. And based on how Kreese's Season 5 story ended, a scenario where the two fight one last time certainly seems to be what the show is building up for in its final season. Johnny and Kreese's relationship took a turn for the worst in Cobra Kai Season 5 when Martin Kove's character seemingly put their bond behind him. Silver once said that Kreese's fondness for Johnny was his greatest weakness, but that doesn't appear to be the case anymore. After Johnny said he wanted to erase every mark Kreese left on him, the villain hinted to Tori that he planned on going after him when he got out of prison. By all indications, Kreese has no intention of holding back when he fights Johnny again, which promises to be a very different kind of dynamic in Cobra Kai Season 6. How it unfolds can decide Kreese's ending in the series. What do you guys think? Do you agree with the fights I've mentioned, or do you have others you would like to see? Let me know below.